Good morning and welcome to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Diana Rich. I'm joined in the studio with our producer, Nick Steffens. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Coming up later in the show, we'll be joined by Karen Bates, Chabal, and Michelle Redlinger, who are representing the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll be talking to them about a petition in favor of Washington County services staying downtown. Looking forward to talking to them more about that and informing the community about what's going on there. But first, let's take a look at the weather. 40 degrees and windy. It was just 75 yesterday.
It was 80 down in Mount Pleasant, and it's supposed to get hot again tomorrow, I think. So I think today's just like the random cold day.
Yeah, my kids wore shorts to school today, so I'm feeling like a bad mom. But
we've talked about this. I was the kid that wore a sweatshirt and shorts all throughout the winter. Yeah. Like, that's just something young boys do.
Yeah, one of my kids is in second grade, though, so I kind of feel bad about that. But his fifth grade brother picked out his clothes, so I'll blame his brother if that's a thing. So hopefully I don't get any calls from the school about that. All right, moving on to, let's see here.
Is there local events?
Yeah, I was going to say local events, but I don't have anything in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have anything for April yet. Do you know of any?
I saw it on the Chamber's website yesterday. But in the meantime, do you know what sporting events happening this week? And why I wore this green jacket?
Oh, the Masters. Took me a while.
The green jacket was a giveaway, but yes. I decided to go with the green jacket today for celebrating not 4-H, not meeting with Amy Green, but the Masters.
If you didn't say green jacket, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Okay. All right. Well, you're welcome. All right. We'll hop into the police report, and then we'll talk about community events after that. The police report, we had 17 traffic calls, 6 animal complaints, 4 court order violations, 4 sex offender checks, 3 harassment calls, 3 for vandalism, 3 for civil dispute, 3 theft, 3 disorderly conduct, for a total of 71 calls. Does that include the weekend since there was no show on Monday?
No, I came in pretty hot since I had to put this all back up after the Mount Pleasant live show, and so I did not want to put all that time in.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll admit I was being lazy.
Here's the lowlights of the police report. Weather-related call. Reports her husband is walking their dog by the soccer field and appears the shed was broken into. The door is open and things are scattered everywhere. 109 responded, appears to be wind damage. Key holder responded and pictures were taken. Documentation at this time.
You know, in like movies, we're like, oh, it's just the wind. But I feel like in Iowa, it actually is the wind sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Especially this last week. It could possibly be. So hopefully nobody broke into it. Hopefully it was indeed the wind. We had a traffic driving complaint in Riverside. Caller reports a possible road rage incident. A silver car has been following them very closely since Hills and nearly ran them off the road. 92.7 and 92.14 responded. The subject was counseled on their driving behavior.
I've talked against people with road rage before and about it's like you're an adult. You can't like control your emotions. I read a study over the weekend that the bigger your car is, the more likely you are to act like that because you have like this level of anonymity. So you think you can just like do whatever you want. It's a fun fact.
That's interesting. Too bad we don't know anything about the silver car that has been following them.
But most people, the reason they act like that is because they have that anonymity and they think they just get away with it.
I feel like you're being stereotypical now.
I am, because I hate people that get road rage.
All right. Theft call in Washington. Caller reports the theft of items off his vehicle Sunday morning. Center of the hubcap with Chrysler on it and the air gauge cover were taken. Report to be filed. Because I bet they didn't fall off rolling down the road.
No, because, well, the hubcap makes sense. People steal those because of the logo. Why would you steal the little caps on the air thing? You can buy like a pack of 8 for $1. They're not.
Well, what I want to know is, did they steal all 4 hubcaps or just one?
I think they just stole one, which makes the air gauge thing even more ridiculous. Why would you just steal one?
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate. A civil dispute in Washington. Caller reports a subject borrowed a motorcycle helmet and a TV from them with the agreement they would pay for it. They are now refusing to pay or return the items. 109 spoke with the caller. The issue was resolved. The caller will retrieve their items. A motorcycle, helmet, and a TV.
The helmet makes sense.
That's a combo. That's quite the combo.
Yeah. The helmet makes sense. You're going to borrow that.
Borrow a helmet.
But a TV, of course he's going to steal it. No one borrows a TV.
He's going to pay for it. All right. Well, that is all we have for the police report. And there's nothing from Iowa City, which I think is probably for the good, the greater good. So, are you jotting down some events for us, Michelle? Do you just want to read them?
Yeah.
All right. We have Michelle here with the local events.
Okay. So, funny fact about me is I get stopped quite often at the grocery store anywhere in town asking what time something starts or whatever it is. So I have it on my phone. And April right now is when we are starting to get more activities, starting to see our community events ramp up a little bit more for the summer.
Yeah, with the nicer weather.
Yeah. So tomorrow, April 6th, we are doing an open house for Victorian View. It's a new Airbnb in town. They're doing events and paranormal type of activities there. And so their open house is from 11 to 1. We also have the Easter Bunny visiting Washington State Bank from 1 to 3. And the extension office at the fairgrounds is offering a climate change challenges discussion that's open to anybody at 2:30 in the afternoon. Then on April 8th, which I believe is Saturday, we start to see some of our community Easter egg hunts. And Crawfordsville is having an Easter egg hunt at 9:30. Mar Park will also be having an Easter egg hunt at that same time at 9:30. And the Kelowna Historical Society has an Easter egg hunt just a little behind that at 10. So maybe if you hustle, you can get all these eggs. 10:30 is when First Assembly of God is having their Easter extravaganza, which includes a hunt of some sort. And in Brighton, their Easter egg hunt is that same Saturday at 11. So there's lots of Easter egg hunt and activities happening around the community. For those who do not want to get out early and do the Easter egg extravaganzas, that evening there's a jazz event at JP's starting at 7 o'clock. And then just a quick question. Do we go for a week of upcoming events, or?
I think we just kind of go through
a few of them.
A few days, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you just a few more because next Tuesday on April 11th, the Lions Club is turning 50 years old, and they're doing a celebration starting at 4 at the YMCA, and everyone is invited to celebrate with them on that. And then next Friday, April 14th, is the last legislative briefing that the chamber is holding. And so it's a chance to hear from our representatives, Heather Horat and Don Driscoll, about the work that they are doing on the Hill and how that's affecting our community.
And where's that at?
That is being hosted at the hospital.
Okay.
So we've had different locations each month. And the hospital is offering complimentary lunch. So if you get there at 11:30, you can grab lunch. The briefing will start at noon, and then we'll end the event with a behind-the-scenes tour of the hospital, and you'll get to see some places that don't normally have access to the general public. So that gets us about to like the 18th and like halfway through the month. But I do need to say this because of the green jacket and the 4-H plug. April 22nd is the 4-H Pancakes and More breakfast fundraiser. Also at the extension office in the basement. And we're starting to get some tournaments here too, because then we've got Wausau, the Softball Association is bringing in some tournaments to the community. St. James big event. There's so much things going on, and I don't know where to stop. So, like, if you need to cut me off,
I think that sounds great. And we'll have to get that printed off for the Friday show, and then we can kind of keep reminding people so they can get those on their calendar. But Michelle coming in clutch with the calendar right there on our phone of all the awesome things going on in the community. So we'll head to commercial break, and when we get back, we'll talk to Karen and Michelle more about the petition.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross. Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
Hey, Emmy, why did the orange lose the race?
Why?
It ran out of juice. That's terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Washington Live. I'm your host, Diana Rich, joined in the studio by Chamber Director Michelle Redlinger and downtown business owner and chamber member Karen Bates Chabal. And we're going to talk about the petition in favor of Washington County services staying downtown. So both of these ladies are passionate about this, and were kind of informing me a little bit about the petition. And for those who maybe aren't familiar, can you tell us a little bit about what this petition is?
Sure, absolutely. It's really an awareness campaign, and maybe many of the viewers today aren't aware of our topic this morning. So a couple months ago, the downtown merchants were made aware of some work being done by the Board of Supervisors to look at the space needs in the courthouse for many of those court services, as well as for our county public health department, which is just a block away on the top 3 floors of the old Federation Bank building. And they've been doing some study of space for quite a while. And so one of their actions in early March was to favor an architectural plan that takes many of the county services out of the courthouse. So the recorder's office, the auditor's office, where we register to vote and vote often, the driver's license station, and treasurer's office, so where we pay our property taxes. So there are a lot of services that they are looking at needing more space and moving out to Orchard Hill, which is west of town. So the downtown merchants really were, most of us were unaware of the plans in action, and we did not want to see that happen. It takes county employees and it takes our county residents' traffic out of the downtown when they come to the courthouse to do business, and it would take them out west. And so they would have to make a concerted effort to come down to our really vibrant downtown. So that's when we started paying attention and decided we needed to go in to talk to the Board of Supervisors about their plans. So the petition, as we began doing that, the petition just sort of developed as a way to show the supervisors that many people were not aware of this plan. It's a pretty major plan. And we also knew there was the bank building, which had just been vacated, so Federation could move to their new location south. And we wanted to utilize that really iconic building downtown and hopefully keep those services centrally located. So we started a petition to say, we'd like you to know that there are many people that support these businesses staying downtown.
Yeah.
So that's how it developed.
Yeah, and I can imagine, I mean, when I go vote for different things at the courthouse, I mean, that line of people, and like you said, go to renew your license, and I mean, the place is always busy with people coming to town and downtown, and I'm sure that would definitely affect people who are wanting to shop or eat downtown. And like you said, if they were on the other side of town, would they make that effort? To
Absolutely.
come down? So that makes complete sense. Where are you at with the petition? What's the status?
Well, Michelle, did you want to
Yeah.
chat about that?
Well, and something I wanted to plug in here, we've got 218 signatures. We presented it at the supervisor meeting this Tuesday morning of this week. But one of the things that surprised us is we decided, let's see if we can do a petition, because after we met with the retailers, that very next morning was when the supervisors signed into an agreement to kind of continue moving forward with their plans on the edge of town. We didn't know if all was lost and we missed the boat. And we thought we'd see if there was interest in, keeping these services downtown. And I know the chamber was one of the locations where people could sign in person, and we also help them distribute it electronically. And what I found really fascinating is there are so many people that reached out, came into our office, signed the petition, that were not downtown, and they weren't going to be monetarily affected by a lack of foot traffic and commerce. They were, we had residents from both the Halcyon and the UP home ask for a petition that they could pass around and get residents to sign. We've had people coming in from different communities outside of Washington, right? So people, Cologne and Brighton, that wouldn't even matter so much. And so we got over 200 signatures in a week. And I thought that was really great diversity on just how important those services are to the community and how much we value them being integrated into our heart of Washington versus being off to the side. Right. And so I don't even know if that's what your question was. That I answered in a very roundabout way.
And people can still sign the petition. The supervisors did receive it yesterday morning, so officially they have the over 200 signatures already. We are looking we're looking forward to having a public meeting. It's a work session with the Board of Supervisors, and we'll have, I believe, at least 3 of them have said they could come next Tuesday evening at the courthouse at 7 p.m. We're going to be up in the courtroom where we have plenty of space to sit around the tables, and we will be working with them. So if we have additional signatures on the petition, they can come into my store, which is on the east side of the square, right in the middle. It's Central Park Antiques. They can come in to sign. They can go to the chamber office, and we can show additional support as well.
And who can sign the signature? Do you have to live in Washington? Do you have to be on the square? Who can sign it?
Yeah, so Washington County residents. So the County Board of Supervisors make many decisions for our county. So anybody that's got a residence in Washington County may sign it.
Okay, very good. And could one, I know the work session's next week, but could one of the solutions be maybe the supervisors move and I mean, is it all for one, or is it just kind of
No, I think really what people are desiring is to have a conversation with them about what are your plans, which offices, where will you go? This is a complex plan. Yeah. So we really hope that we can be made aware of all of the study that they have done, what they know, how it'll be funded, who would be moving, where would they be moving, what are some other ideas. So I think anything in our minds can still be discussed and looked at a little differently. The main goal we really want, and we're hearing from people, is to keep our services centrally located.
Yeah.
And to figure out the answer to a lot of different misinformation and rumors, because we hear different numbers and different
in terms of cost.
Yeah, on what the cost would be, what the renovation scope would actually look like, what are their needs, what are they trying to accomplish, and could we accomplish their goals, and could we still retain their services inside the community,
Right.
and do both together? And so are there just some options? And so what we want to prevent is we want to prevent a big change in the downtown, totally shifting how full and vibrant everything is in the community, much similar to what happened when the malls became really popular. And then, we saw a lot of our downtowns really suffer and become vacant because there was all this push and traffic to go to our malls. And then now we're facing very similar competition against Amazons and online shopping. And then if we see this big major loss of traffic, it really could be that shift that we look back in 5 years and say, ooh, you know what? We understand people are busy and they're going to work, they're going to get gas and groceries. And sometimes it's easy just to drive by the downtown, and those downtown shop owners have, a variety of different hours. It's hard to get there sometimes. We understand that too. And so whatever we can do to be proactive and preserve our downtown being vibrant and full of these wonderful business owners, that's kind of what we're trying to find a common solution.
Yeah.
If I could tag into something that Michelle said that's really important. My business as the owner of an antique store is only a year and a half old. We'll hit 2 years in August. And I am continually surprised by how many of our county residents who maybe don't get into the downtown are not aware of my business on the square. I'm right in the center of the east side of the square. If you walk outside of our beautiful Central Park, you'll walk into Central Park Antiques and Boxcar Treasures, which is in an adjoining store to me. And we have these big awnings and, signs and things in front of our stores. And many people who are local will tell me, boy, I didn't know you were here. And I am taken aback. At first, I was surprised by that a lot. And then I've heard it. I've heard it regularly. Now,
you're going to hear it for another 5 more years, just so you know.
I am sure. I am a new retailer, so this is a new venture for me. But the people that come in from out of town who visit from Cedar Rapids and Iowa City and the Quad Cities and Ottumwa, and a lot of people come in to do day trips and a variety of things that we have to offer in Washington, and they discover us. But it's our local folks who maybe they have busy lives and they may not get downtown to see what's new, what are the shops, what are the services down there. So we're continually working to introduce ourselves. And like Michelle said, get used to that, Karen. So this is another reason, one of the main reasons we value our courthouse and our services that are our county services, and want to keep people downtown. So, because we don't want to make it harder for them to come in, 3/4 of a mile or a mile or whatever to drive downtown, because, you can stay on the outskirts of town and, get groceries or whatever it might be that you might do when you're doing your other county services too. So, it's vital to our downtown, keeping it vibrant.
Yeah, I love your passion about it, and I'm so happy that they're willing to have a work session with you guys, and whoever's wanting to go to that. I think that's great to be able to work together and try to find a solution that whatever's best for Washington and the residents and the merchants. What do the people who work at the courthouse? What's their opinion? Have you heard? Do you know much about the people who work in those different offices? What are they thinking?
We have heard some of that.
A lot of it.
Yeah, we've heard that they like being in town. And while they may want and need additional workspace, they're not necessarily in favor of moving to Orchard Hill. And so I know there's been some studies that the Board of Supervisors did in August of 2021 saying, hey, we're getting this COVID relief funds, what would we do with it? And while they might say that moving to Orchard Hill was at the top of the list, that isn't really what the study shows. So, I really think that they're hoping to stay downtown.
I've had a lot of employees reach out and just say thanks for doing this. And I know that they've been shopping and they've been talking to the retailers about, their concerns. But it's similar to the community the employees are just as confused about where they're going, how that would work. They work closely next to this office. Would they still be located next to this office if they moved locations? And so for them, it's also confusing. And then they also are a little unsure about how much they can voice because they don't want to be at risk of, anything with their position and their job. And so one of the things that we're looking at is, can we find a way to give the employees a chance to just give feedback, what would be the pros and the cons and their wish list, and give them a voice anonymously.
Yeah, a chance to be heard.
And so that way they just feel like they're part of the decision-making process. So hopefully we'll get to do something like that.
And what is what are the offices like out at Orchard Hill currently? Are they vacant? Are they filled? Do you guys know much about the status of that?
We know that there are some county offices out there already. The environmental health office is out there. There are some probation services out there. I believe it's adult probation and outreach is located out there. But they will say the space is underutilized. We do know, though, that the Hawkeye Area Community Action Program, or known as HACAP here, is housed out there, and they've had extensive renovation done to their building in the recent past to make it workable and appropriate for their services. So while there may be some underutilized buildings, they are actually part of the space is in use.
It's county-owned property.
Yes.
Yeah, and
HACAP is a renter, so
yes,
they would be displaced.
They would be displaced, and they want to remain out there because their food bank is there, their housing, playgrounds, all of that stuff. Yeah. And so we talked to HACAP, and they don't know where they would go if the county moved forward with this. And from the supervisor's point of view, they're trying to look at places that they already own, that's county property, right? So they can utilize that better, and that makes complete sense. But I think there are some additional county-owned properties that could be considered, like the McCready Building, where the assessors and the county engineers are located right now, and the old jail is being torn down, and so that's just right behind the courthouse or north of it, and I think that could be at least open for consideration, and so that's part of all these questions that we're trying to figure out, and we're hearing something different, and we just need to know what is actually factual.
Yeah.
And open up that dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really be able to allow our county residents to come in and hear firsthand. They may get bits and pieces here and there. We know media coverage of our government is different now than it was many years ago when we had a daily newspaper that had a lot of space to cover just Washington County, city government, county government, school boards, et cetera. So it's a little harder to get informed about what's happening. So this is going to be a great opportunity, and we are grateful to the Board of Supervisors for suggesting this in the meeting to come to the table and talk. And I know they've done a lot of work on this. I know they've had, construction managers and architects kind of taking a look at this, but it might not be, the best plan, and it could turn out that it's, it doesn't work another way. But this really feels like it's our county residents being allowed to be a part of the conversation and getting involved in our county government. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I have a couple more questions, but let's head to commercial break, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the petition. All right.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
Welcome back to Washington Live. I'm your host, Diana Rich, joined in the studio by Karen Bates Chabal and Michelle Redlinger. We've been talking, they're here representing the Washington Chamber of Commerce, and we've been talking about the petition in favor of Washington County Services staying downtown. So we've had a great conversation. I've learned a lot about what's going on, and still a few more things to talk about regarding that. So just kind of piggybacking on what we've been talking about, how will this move be funded? Will they need to renovate those offices out there? Where is this money coming from?
Good questions. Well, what has prompted, I think, a lot of this work by the board is that counties were given COVID relief funds. They're called ARPA funds. And we have somewhere a little over $4 million. And so that is the thrust of the funding. So we do have questions, though. We're not quite sure. Have any of the COVID relief funds been spent already? Will these plans be able to be handled? And by plans, I mean, totally remodeling of the buildings out there is what they're talking about. Extensive remodeling, perhaps like tearing down and rebuilding, perhaps leaving exterior walls and roof lines out there and then rebuilding. They've talked about adding a walkway between a couple. Just need to see some concrete funding. There are also other parts of this plan that look like the county engineer moving out to the secondary roads building north on the north edge of town. And there's a cost to that, and we've seen some different figures there. And so when you start adding that in, as well as a remodel in the courthouse for better use of that space for our court systems, then we're just not really sure how those figures fall. And is that going to all be covered by the COVID money, or will there have to be other county funding and a bond issue or other funding mechanisms?
Yeah, because one thing that we did get access to was they shared the feasibility study from Carly Nelson, and on the low end of their budget to rehab a little bit of the courthouse, do the county engineers, and Orchard Hill, that proposal, the low end of that was over $6.7 million.
Wow.
And the high end was over $7.5 million. So we believe that the county got $4.3 million, and so there's definitely a gap in excess of $2 million. There has been discussion from the supervisors that there's been money set aside for renovation or these new facilities. But is that 2 million? We haven't got any numbers. And then would this end up being a bond vote later? That's just part of the thing where we don't have clarity, and that's why we just want to have discussion and make sure that we know what that looks like.
Right. And let's say like the funds were all there. Who gets to decide? Does the community get to vote? Who gets to just say like, this is what we're doing and now we're doing it?
At this stage, it is the responsibility of the Board of Supervisors. So that's a 5-member board, and they are charged with making this decision.
So they control it.
They control it.
They do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But our county is divided into those 5 sections with a supervisor, leading that area. And so if our community members feel strongly one way or another, they have open office hours every day in the weekdays, and they have other ways that you can contact them, phone and email. And so part of that responsibility and serving for their piece of the county is, to hopefully engage with the public and the voters, and to reflect their votes on what they're hearing from the community. And so that's why we just want to make sure that as many people as we can are aware of it. We try to get factual information out there and eliminate all the different misinformation, and then people at least can have a chance to be involved in the decision making or have the correct information.
Yeah.
That's why we're kind of like halfway through over there right now.
Yes, absolutely. So
you kind of answered it there, but let's say, someone watching is, very passionate for or against, whatever they think. What is the best way for them to voice their opinion, get involved, or stand up for what they believe?
Yeah, great question. You should reach out to the Board of Supervisors. So that a way to do that is to either check the Washington County website. You can find their names. You can find the days that they have office hours. They are every morning, 8:30 to 11:30. A different county supervisor is in and holding office hours. So stop in, phone, email them, and share your opinions and questions.
But those who can't get in the morning, if they've got jobs or other things going on, that's why we have the work session happening in the evening.
Yep.
And so again, that's this upcoming Tuesday. It's April 11th at 7 p.m. at the courthouse. And so it's going to be an informal discussion, questions and answers going back and forth. And so hopefully that will also allow an additional opportunity for people to
absolutely
have those conversations.
Really a civil discourse and work session with our supervisors about plans and gathering more information. So
as part of the work session to talk about alternative options or just any solution that might be out there.
Yeah, I think any solution, until we know exactly, what needs they have identified, right, and, what they've prioritized, I think it's hard for us to go to, for instance, I'll plan on going to some of our chamber member partners, those who have contracting experience, and see if another location might be able to fit their needs, or the funds that they do have, could I find something within that monetary limit? Yeah, and so I don't know that we'll have an alternative proposal. We've got some theories, but we don't want to bring something to the table that just doesn't meet their needs at all either, because that's obviously not going to be something they'll consider very much.
Right.
And so I think right now is going to be clearing up different information, and it's going to be assessing what their needs are, and then probably asking for a little bit of time so we can come back with maybe some more information or proposals or
all right,
alternatives.
Absolutely.
Very good. I think we'll probably move on to the birthday show, unless you guys have anything else to add on. Any final words?
Feel free to reach out if they've got questions or on how to get involved. Stop by my store. That's a way as well. So yeah, we're very, very thankful for being here today and sharing some awareness about this important decision for our county.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your information. I think, like you guys said, I mean, just putting the information out there and making sure people are informed and involved, and instead of something, happening and then people being like, wait, what? And there's so many modes of communication out there and so many, so I think that the most, the different ways you guys can get out in front of people, I think is great. So
Diana, maybe you could help us do like a TikTok video.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I've never done.
I'm all in. Let's
My family
do it. Maybe
disown me. Nope. As much as I would like to do it.
So 6 p.m. next Tuesday before the work
7.
session.
Oh.
Before the work session, we'll work on our TikTok.
Okay.
We'll have an hour TikTok work session before the actual work session.
We'll all be outside of our comfort zone.
I better practice this weekend.
I'll call you guys about what we'll wear and can start working on it. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you guys for the work you guys are doing for this with this, we'll just segue into a little bit lighter of a topic.
Mm-hmm.
Today is what's today's National Day, Nick?
First Contact Day, according to Star Trek. In 40 years, in April 5th, 2063, we're going to discover warp speed or whatever they call it, and we're going to come into contact with other intelligent life.
Interesting. So we're celebrating this day before today.
Yeah, it's kind of like Captain Kirk's birthday, how they have Trek Fest and all that stuff.
So it's not like the contact in my eye.
No, that's what I thought it was at first, but then this is way more interesting than.
When it was singular, you kind of had me thrown off. But
yeah.
Anyways, all right. You guys excited to play the birthday game or what?
No, I'm horrible. You are going to be better.
Oh, yeah. So the birthday
I've seen
game.
this a little bit, but
Yeah. So the birthday game, I'm going to put a celebrity whose birthday is today on the screen.
Okay.
You have to guess their age. If you're within 3 years, you get a point. If you get it right on, you get 2 points. And the first celebrity is Lily James.
Okay, I'm going to say 32.
Oh, are we all voting now? I still have to vote?
Yeah.
You guys can be a team if you
I
want.
don't even know.
I'll go 37.
Then I'll do 35.
You guys each get a point. She is 34.
All right.
So we're starting off 1 to 1 to 1. Next up, we have Pharrell Williams, the singer-songwriter.
41.
I was going to say 40.
I'm going to go 37 again.
He is actually 50.
Wow, Pharrell.
He's one of those people
looking
that just
good.
does not age. So we're still tied at 1 to 1 to 1. Next up, we have Maisie Williams, no relation to Pharrell Williams. She's in Game of Thrones.
27. I have no idea. She might also be 50.
29.
29.
Sure.
31.
She is 25. So Diana, you hop out to a 2 to 1 to 1 lead.
All right.
Next up is Agnetha Foltskog from ABBA.
So into this. Okay, I am going to say
I'll zoom in. Can I zoom in a little bit? There we go.
68.
I was going to do 67 in my head, so I'm going to just go that.
I'm going to go 63.
She is 73.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Diana, you win with a whopping score of 2 to 1 to 1.
All right, which is...
It's really sad that I don't know who any of these people are.
I only knew who
could see-
Pharrell Williams was, and I was off on his age by 13 years. So, do I really know Pharrell? Oh, man. Do you guys have any birthday shout-outs today? So, like your husband's birthday or your...
Oh, one of my childhood lifelong friend's birthday was Monday, so Carol Peterson Brown, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right. My neighbor's birthday today also owns Ace in town, Craig Jones. Happy birthday, Craig. Any birthday shout-outs, Nick?
Just like obscure people from my high school, and their birthdays were like 3 days ago. So I got nothing.
Nobody special enough for a shout-out?
No one special enough.
All
People
right.
I talked to once like 6 years ago.
And you're still friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just because. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, Michelle and Karen.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on Washington Live. We hope you have a great Wednesday.